Have you ever been in a church environment where you were praised for your gifts, your insight, and your passion? Right up until the moment you asked a question they didn't want to answer? Maybe you noticed a discrepancy in the finances. Maybe you pointed out that a leader's anger was hurting people. Maybe you just said, hey, something about this, it doesn't feel right. And almost overnight, the narrative shifted. You went from being a valued leader to being divisive. You were told you had a critical spirit, a rebellious heart, or the heavy hitter, a Jezebel spirit. You walked around wondering, was I the problem? Am I really that difficult? If that resonates with you, I want you to take a deep breath. In a family systems theory, there is a role called the scapegoat. And unfortunately, this dynamic is alive and well in our churches too. Today, we're going to look at why the most honest person in the room often becomes the biggest target. In psychology, the scapegoat is the person in a dysfunctional family system who is selected to carry the shame and anxiety of the entire group. In a church context, the scapegoat is often the truth teller. You see, healthy systems, whether families or churches, can handle feedback. If you say, Pastor, that joke was hurtful, a healthy leader says, oh, I am so sorry. Thank you for telling me. But a toxic system prioritizes comfort over truth. The system's number one goal is to protect the status quo, to protect the image of the ministry or the ego of the leader. So when you, the truth teller, point out a dysfunction, the system doesn't try to fix the dysfunction, it tries to fix you, because you are the one making them uncomfortable. Let's talk about how this happens. It's rarely direct. It's usually a rebranding of your character. When you notice a problem, a toxic system views your observation as an attack. If you say, we aren't caring for our volunteers, they hear, you are attacking the vision. If you say, I don't feel safe, they hear, you are sowing discord. They cannot separate your insight from insubordination. So to neutralize the truth you are speaking, they have to discredit the source. They have to make you the problem so they don't have to look at the problem you're pointing at. This is the heavy part, so stay with me. Psychologists call this projective identification. Imagine a church leadership team that is full of insecurity, jealousy, and fear. But leaders aren't supposed to feel those things, right? So unconsciously, they project those feelings onto you. The leader who is insecure about his authority will accuse you of being power hungry. The board that is hiding secrets will accuse you of being sneaky. You become the trash can for the system's emotional waste. And the craziest part, you might start believing them. You start thinking, maybe I am power hungry. Maybe I am too critical. That is the trauma bond talking. I often get asked, why me? Why did they pick me to target? Here is the irony. Scapegoats are usually chosen because they are the healthiest or the most perceptive people in the room. You were targeted because you had eyes to see what everyone else was pretending wasn't there. You were the mirror. When they looked at you, they saw their own dysfunction reflecting back, and they smashed the mirror rather than fixing their faces. So how do you know if this happened to you? The sudden shift. You went from golden child to outcast very quickly. Double standards. Other people could make mistakes, but your smallest error was treated like a moral failure. Isolation. People stopped talking to you or unfriended you without explanation, which is a process called shunning. The more you're too much labeled. You were told you are too emotional, too intense, or thinking too much. If you are carrying the weight of being the problem child of your former church, I want you to hear this. The problem was not your voice. The problem was their inability to tolerate the truth. Jesus himself was the ultimate scapegoat. He was the truth teller who exposed the hypocrisy of the religious leaders of his day, and they killed him for it to protect the nation. You are in good company. Healing begins when you hand that shame back. You visualize taking that label of rebellious or divisive and setting it down. It was never for you to carry. If you're ready to go deeper into healing from these spiritual wounds, I have a video where we talk about the 5 signs of spiritual gaslighting. It will help you untangle the lies you were told. I'll see you in the next video.